Hey, my name's Steph. I'm a cross-stitch designer. I own a needlework store called Lindy Stitches, and I love cross-stitching. I come on here to talk about cross-stitch. Weird, huh? I got a new camera, everyone. Don't know if you can tell. Sure hope you can. Although, it has 82 settings for everything. And I don't know what I'm doing. So this is my new recording space. Welcome. Super boring, right? Not attractive in the least. So I thought I would complete the ensemble by wearing my beige shirt to match the beige wall. Perhaps a terrible choice, but I thought, why not make the before look really, really good when they finally see the after? So this is the before. There will be an after. I have not only a new camera, but I have stuff coming to jazz this up so that it looks really like something you would want to see. So yeah, here's the before. Here's the before. I'm pausing because I think I just kind of spit, but moving on. How are you? I hope you're doing well. What is your favorite stitching scenario? By that I mean, if you could pick any season, time, day, situation to stitch in, what is your favorite? When I think about this question, I think about things like Christmas Eve when it's nice and cozy and you're stitching on a holiday project and you're anticipating the next day. Or your birthday where it's like you get to treat yourself and just spend time doing what you enjoy or start a new project. Love those scenarios, but my favorite stitching scenario is right now. I love top stitching, best stitching experience for me is always taking my project out onto the porch, not closed-in porch, open air porch with some shade when it's really, really hot. I've done this in Florida. I want it really, really hot, and I just want to sit there and get really overheated and then go inside in the air conditioning. I don't know why I love that so much, but it's ideal. I eat it up. I love it, which is why I'm so happy it's July and that Indiana finally got hot. I felt like my garden was growing so slow in June because we weren't getting the heat that we normally get in June, and well, now it's here, so I have nothing to complain about and I can go outside and get very sweaty cross-stitching. Well, so far I have spit and talked about how I love getting sweaty, so the video can only get better from here. I have new releases to share with you. We can talk about Cooper since so many of you keep emailing me to ask about him. I have projects I've been stitching on, new stuff I added to the shop, all the good stuff. So let's just get started. I've released 3 new patterns since you saw me last. We will go through them very quickly. You probably are already aware, but this is my summer version for dogs in the garden. This is the Chihuahua, and this one is called Helping in the Coneflowers. The coneflowers are a common summer plant here in Indiana that we like to put up in our perennials. They're so easy to grow and so beautiful. So these all fit in a 5x7 frame. I stitched this on 32 count Wedgwood linen by Seraphim Fabrics. And it's just cute and cheery. Then I also have 2 more birds for the Bird Crush Club. This is a beautiful summery piece, the American Avocet. These are water birds who love nothing more than walking around in some shallowish water to collect some food. They have beautiful long blue legs and these rosy pink heads, and I think they are adorable. I love how it looks with the blue frame because it looks amazing on my summertime shelf in the living room. And then another bird crush, this is the Western Meadowlark. And I stitched this on Ada only because it just was the perfect color, so I went for it. This is Sea Lily, I think that's correct. It's one of the Nora Corbett colors by Witchelt. Did you know that the Western Meadowlark is the second most common state bird in the United States? The Northern Cardinal wins the most popular vote, but the second most popular is the Western Meadowlark. I love him, and I especially love how the markings around his chest look like an old-fashioned bow tie. Alright, let's talk about Cooper. I get emails about Cooper every week, and I've gotten lots of comments and requests for my color conversion for Kathy Barrick's Cooper. Isn't he lovely? He is lovely, and I have committed a crime. I used a bunch of older Color and Cotton colors that are no longer available. They were when her club first started, and those colors have gone by the wayside, and so I can't share with you the blues I used. I can tell you that the branch is all the charted colors, and I know what yellows I used. The background letters are Fallen Leaves by Threadworks, and his stomach is Squash by Weeks Dye Works. But I would not be afraid to just go for it with Cooper. He is an easy pattern to do, and I don't think that you can mess him up. I don't. As long as you pick a darker tone for his wings so that they kind of stand out from his body, and a medium tone blue for his head and his belly, I think that you will be fine. So just go for it. From now on, if I do a color conversion, I won't use limited edition colors because the amount of emails and messages I receive when I do a color conversion, I don't like disappointing that many people, so I will not do that again. I will mend my ways. Okay, I don't normally show gifts because I like them to be personal, and I don't know, it's just something I like to keep between myself and the gifter. However, I don't know, when you receive a possum in the mail, I feel like that breaks all my expectations for gifting. Because Denise, my model stitcher, made me this. Look at his feet! Oh my goodness! Look at his tail. Denise, thank you. I adore this. He's not only beautiful, but functional. I like to block out the light from my alarm clock. I like it to be really dark in my room. So every night I set my alarm and try to block the light. Usually with like a sock that's laying around or a kitchen towel. This is the perfect size, and he is much cuter than using a dirty sock. Alright, I'd love to show you what I've been stitching on this summer, so let's do it. First of all, garden sampler. 'Tis the season for all things gardening. This is by Carriage House Samplings. I am doing a little bit of a color conversion, which shall be shared when I'm done with the piece. I am stitching it on 32 count Spearmint Linen by Forbidden Fiber Co. I have this fabric in my shop because I think it's so lovely and versatile. It is just a really light mint not really mint. I don't know. It's a light green. It doesn't have a ton of blue in it, which is why I probably wouldn't call it a mint. Although it's called spearmint, so what am I talking about? So I was able to add a few more letters, the Q, the P, and the O, and I will be one letter from the bottom. I have N is for nest, and then I will hit the bottom of that vine, and I think I'll probably go from the top down again on the second half. But this project has gone really quickly for how large it is. The stitch count is, hold please. The stitch count is 104 wide by 258 high, and you think, oh my goodness, 258 high, like that's a behemoth of a project, but I'm telling, this goes really quickly. You're just like a bam, bam, bam. Love it. Next project, I put some stitches in on carrot cake. Love this one. I know I've talked about this Carolyn Manning project a few times, and when I first mentioned it, I was saying how I couldn't decide between this one and another one that's more fall toned called Sweater Weather, and that I might start them both. I was thinking about starting them both. Well, I am so glad I didn't start them both. I don't think until you really get into this, you realize how huge this is. But here's what I have. This section right here is the halfway point across, and so that's not a fourth. What would that be? 1, 2, 3, 4, like a sixth? I don't know. It's going to be big. It is a lot of stitching, but it's very mindless and it's very relaxing. So I really like it. The last project I'm working on is a big sampler that I'm intending to release in Nashville in March, and I don't know, I just wanted to stitch it myself. I would normally send this to a model stitcher, but I had a few colors I wasn't sure about, and that sometimes makes me need to stitch it myself. But I also just thought this was so fun. I am not going to show you all of it. I want to show you a couple things about it, but some of you have already seen sneak peeks of this, because on the bottom of the sampler is a big menagerie of animals, birds, mostly land animals, but I was taking suggestions one day on Instagram as I was deciding, like, what animal do you want to see next? And I was taking suggestions and literally putting them in the sampler as those suggestions came in. But first of all, okay, new linen alert. New linen alert. New possible Steph all-time favorite alert. Yeah. Look at this color. This is Spending Amnesia by Mystic Fabrics. Okay, you're like, yeah, it's a big surprise, it's another mint green. Whoop-de-doo, you put everything on mint green. To that, I would say you are right, I put everything on mint green. The tone, I'm just telling you. Misty compares this to the color of money, which, I mean, that would be the US dollar. The color of the US dollar, which I sort of agree with. If I had $1 in my pocket, I would pull it out. But I sort of don't agree with. I think it's a little more fun than the green of the US dollar. How is this different from the other mint greens, which I have proclaimed are my favorite? Well, let me go grab them. Okay, so little segue into the world of green fabrics, specifically mint. I love mint green. I think it makes everything look happy and cheerful. This is a super mint. This is Sea Spray by Seraphim Fabrics. It is a mint green, but it also has, as you can see, some yellowish mottling on it. So it's not a completely solid colored fabric. But I think the modeling adds a little bit of interest. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. But just as a green comparison, I also grabbed Water Spirit by Seraphim. This is not a mint green. This is a yellow toned green. And I'm just like giving you a little fabric eye candy here. I love Spinning Amnesia so much lately because I think you can classify it as a mint, but unlike the Sea Spray, it leans a little bit more green. And it also doesn't have any other tones in it. So while the Sea Spray has some yellow mottling, which are interesting, the Spending Amnesia is one tone. It does have variegation in it, but it's all the same tone, and I love that because it's not unpredictable in any way. It's just this beautiful background color, perfect for nature, and so beautiful to pop colors off of. The reason why I knew I wanted to use this for my big sampler is because one of my other whips, which I recently started, can't show it to you yet, but will maybe in my next video. I was stitching an animal on it, a deer in particular, and just the colors just looked so good against this background. So grabbed it for my big sampler that I'm working on that's full of animals and plants, and it's going to be great. You want to see a sneak peek of an animal? There's a little sloth. He's hanging out with his toothy feet. Toothy feet? That's just not what I meant. Claw feet. What's a toothy feet? Alright, moving on. Here's some summer stitches. I just grabbed a bunch of summery Lindy Stitches finishes that I wanted to just show you because they're fun and summery. Here is Stretching in the Garden. Not Stretching in the Garden, Stretching in the Daisies. This is the Cats in the Garden Summer Edition. This is one of the most popular cats from that series because it's just so stinking cute. And who doesn't know a good tabby that they need to celebrate? An oldie but a goodie. This is Beach Dance, the blue-footed booby. So cute. Lois at Lady Creates finished this into the most adorable little needlebook for me. I adore it. Here's the big collaboration with the Blue Flower. This is Saltwater Scrapbook. Half the squares belong to me, half the squares belong to her, and you put them together into this wonderful montage. Saltwater Scrapbook, so there's a part 1 and a part 2. And it's just full of summery goodness, and now I want to go to the beach. Here's some fish. This is Shining Fish, and it has a Robert Bly poem on it, and it's just fun. It says summer, but it hangs up year-round here at my house. So those are all my patterns. And do you do this? I'm constantly taking things off the wall and rearranging according to the seasons. Some seasons I have more decorations for than others. Fall being, well, also Christmas. Being the seasons that I have the most decor. But my summer selection is slowly growing, and it's good. It's good to celebrate and enjoy the time you're in. So next up, let's talk about what has happened at Lindy Stitches. I have a lot to share with you about what's gone on my website / awesome stuff I added. So I did add the Spending Amnesia fabric from Mystic Fabrics. I also added, my chair is doth protest. Peacemaker's needles. I have not tried them yet. I already carry Bowen and John James tapestry needles and thought, well, why not? There could always be a new favorite in town. Anyone a huge fan? Is this anybody's favorite needle? I would love to know why and what feels good about it down below, but I should put this next to my stitchy spot and give them a whirl. I'd love to do a video about like comparing needle brands because I find that fascinating, but Peacemaker needles are now in the shop. From the Blue Flower, I had to add Moggy Manor. Now I carry a lot of Janine's patterns in my shop, and her patterns complement, I think, my style very well, and so if you come for my patterns, you're probably tempted by Janine's as well. She's also a huge nature lover and loves a good quote and makes wonderful animal samplers. This is the fault of several people who finished it on Facebook, and I was like, oh goodness me, this needs to be added. So technically this is like a celebration of cats sampler, but I don't think it's like it's not super cat lady, if you know. What am I saying? There's 2 cats here, and there's 2 cats up here, and she says on the back that it was a celebration of her cat, Moggy. However, you could definitely customize that for your cats. So here's Moggy Manor, added to lindystitches.com, and then I recently found a new designer. And I bought all of her patterns and put them all in the shop because, like I said, complementing my style and I know what my customers are drawn to. Therefore, I stocked all of the artsy housewife patterns, and I will show them to you really quick. Her name is Gigi. She lives in Texas. She's actually an oil painter turned cross-stitch designer, and she hasn't been designing for very long, but I was like, there's no reason to hesitate on this. She can write a fantastic pattern. So here is Bedelia Bunny, and look how fun those flowers look. Very cute. Here is Byron Blackbird. Okay, yeah, I knew this was coming home with me. This is called Grace, and she actually stitched this on 3 scraps of linen and then sewed it together, but the chart inside is for the whole piece, so no matter how you would like to stitch it, it's there for you. But I thought the idea of stitching them on scraps of linen was interesting. I don't know many stitchers who are that ambitious, but if you want it to be, that would be a great pattern to try it out with. Its sister pattern is called Peace. This is a study in pink, and she's actually working on a different color of butterfly now. Not sure what that one will be called, but this is gorgeous. And one of the reasons why I really like this is she made all 4 of the wings different. No need to get bored. I think this would be really fun to stitch up. This is called Summer Solstice. Really graphic and lovely. And then this one, I could not help myself. This is called Tulip House, and I'm not a huge house stitcher, but I would definitely stitch that house. I would live in that house. Very, very cute. So that's the artsy housewife, and I now have all her patterns in my shop for your perusal. Other things going on at Lindy Stitches, we updated our freebie postcard. Yay! Every year I put out a new freebie postcard that goes out in all my physical orders, and yeah, sorry, many of you have gotten too many of the same freebie over and over again. And it's been updated. So you will be surprised with a brand new freebie postcard. I also have a wish list function now on my website, so I hope you enjoy that. You can make a wish list and maintain it and send it to your husband or your mother when you need a birthday or Christmas gift. So the wish list function is now active. Okay, back from Walmart. Had to make a trip to Walmart, as you do. Isn't summer fun? The last thing I wanted to mention about the website is that I have a little service where you can get texts from me. It's called the Texty Besties. You just sign up for it. I'll put the link down below. I'm only texting out important updates such as big shop updates, ticket reminders for any events I have coming up, things like that. So we're talking 1 to 2 texts a month at this point. Really trying to be restrained and non-annoying. But I have signed up for a couple companies' texts, and I appreciate them from companies that I really am driving with, and so I thought I would go ahead and start that up for Lindy Stitches. So if you're interested, the info is down below. Here on out, I'm just going to give a little bit of a personal update. So the first thing I want to tell you is that I got to go to Niagara Falls, and that was amazing. And if anyone else is taking a road trip to Niagara Falls and you're going through Indiana, hey, give me a holler, pick me up, because I would love to do it again. I haven't been there since I was a child. We took our 2 younger children, and none of them have been. And it's just incredible. It's such a marvel. It really takes you outside of your own brain. I loved it. We weren't able to go to the Canadian side because 2 of us didn't have our passports updated. I've never just gone to the American side, but it was totally worth going to. We were able to see so much of it, and it was lovely. We of course rode the Maid of the Mist. Here's a picture. It was just great, and I was glad we got to take a quick trip up there to do that together. Summer's been the way summer always is. I don't know my right from my left as a person who thrives on routine. I love summer and I hate summer. Yeah, it can be a little chaotic, and yeah, but it goes so quickly. We're already halfway through. In other news, I have my class called Ruffled Feathers with Lois at Lady.Creates coming up on July 22nd. It's a Saturday. If you would like to join us, there are still ways of joining us. I would definitely suggest the PDF ticket, which is just a cheap way to get into the event. You can watch us finish the project. You get all the patterns and instructions, and then you will fully know how to make a needle book yourself. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're actually testing out the new platform that we're going to use for the Jingle Ball, so it's going to be seamless, it's going to be sleek, and I'm really looking forward to that day and hanging out with all of you and just laughing with Lois because she's amazing and hilarious, and I know you're going to love her. In other news, I just got a huge model stitch back in the mail, and I would like to give you a sneak peek. In August, I'm going to be releasing a Black Cat series. The whole series is going to be called Black Cat Season, and it has 6 parts. And my model stitcher Pam blew through this very long piece so quickly. I was thinking, oh, I don't have a lot of time left. I'm gonna have to stitch this myself. I'm so glad I didn't. Pam, did you sleep, Pam? Because wow, I am going to give you an exclusive sneak peek right now. And ready? That was your sneak peek. Hopefully my camera isn't so high quality that you can just like pause it and see the whole thing. Let's do it again. Okay. That was fun. Another thing I've enjoyed lately, this will go on my next list of 10, but here's a preview, is puzzling. I got back into puzzling this year. I've never been a hardcore puzzler, but I randomly ran across someone talking about puzzles on YouTube and fell into one of those delightful rabbit holes of things that you're sort of auxiliarily interested in, but then all of a sudden you consume a little bit of that niche's content and you kind of get drawn back into it. Puzzling. If you are in a time of your life where you can't even mentally work up the desire to work on your crafts that you normally enjoy, I would really suggest doing a puzzle. I know it might sound a little boring, but it is incredibly relaxing and I think fun. So like a total nerd, I brought down because we are down. I brought down my top 4 puzzles of the last few months. So I'm not going to be a professional puzzle tuber. I don't know what the puzzling community calls itself, but I'm not going to go through the nitty gritty of this. If you want something really easy and really fun, I suggest this puzzle. This one's by Buffalo Games and it is called Amazing Nature Rare Birds. And you know this drew me in. My favorite bird of all time, the kakapo. Love it. And so very easy, only 500 pieces, and they all obviously go somewhere. Got this one at the old Walmart. This one was fun. Again, 500 pieces, but a lot more difficult than the last because it's just feathers. This one is by the photographer. I showed you his book about a year ago. My daughter bought me his book. I forget what his name is, Joel something. But anyway, that is called The Fig Parrot, and it's by Buffalo Games. 2,000 pieces that I really enjoyed. This one was a Mother's Day gift. Really loved working on this one. It's called Doodle, and it's by Cloudberries. And these are all my favorite colors, and I just loved this funky illustration, and it was really fun to work on. And then really loved this one. This one is by Ebu. It's called Blue Kitchen. The only problem I had with this one is it has like a really glossy finish to the pieces, and so if you're working on it at night, it's hard to see if you're using an overhead light because it just reflects straight into your eyeballs and you can't see what you're looking at. So I'm not sure how many Ebu puzzles I'll be investing in because of it. Investing in? What am I saying? Not sure I would purchase Ebu again, but they do have the cutest illustrations. It's almost worth working through that glossy reflective problem, and they're really pretty when they're put together. So go get yourself a puzzle. I hope you're having an amazing summer. Thanks for spending some time with me today. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to know what you have been stitching on while watching this. Leave it down below. Oh, and your favorite stitching scenario. Remember? Because I would love to read those. You can find all the links to all the stuff where they always are, and I hope to talk to you sooner rather than later. Bye, friends. everything within me is telling me this video has been a hot mess. Piping hot. But, I want you to bury me in these purple pants.
You think those pants are purple?
Yeah.
How in the world are you
What?
a cross-stitch designer when you are clearly, like, colorblind?
You don't think this is purple?
No.
What color do you think it is?
I can't tell in this light, but it doesn't look purple.
This...
This light is
They're
really...
purple! I'm sorry. I'm human. Yep. So... He doesn't give a rip, is what he says. Here's my pattern.
I've always appreciated those pants with a crotch that goes down mid-thigh. Reminds me of that song the Soggy Bottom Boys sang. My crotch is too low, and so is my spirit.
And he really hurt my feelings when he said that about my pants.